We've all been trapped in a debate where two sides simply talk past each other. Ideas crash and rebound, but no one changes their mind. It is easy to mistake a loud opinion for a well-formed argument. But there is a gap between having a reason for what you believe and building a structure that can actually support a conclusion. To break the cycle of circular debate, we have to move past judging ideas by how they feel. We need a way to run them through a diagnostic framework that measures their structural strength. Think of this framework as a truth-seeking machine. To be good, an argument must survive 5 distinct stress tests. The first stage is structure. This requires logic that doesn't contradict itself and avoids circular reasoning. Next are relevance and acceptability. These ensure evidence has a direct bearing on the claim and relies on plausible premises. The fourth test is sufficiency. You need enough facts to provide the weight necessary to justify the conclusion. Finally, we reach the rebuttal principle. A strong argument anticipates and addresses its most serious criticisms, blunting their impact before the discussion ends. When an argument manages to satisfy these 5 conditions, it offers a reliable basis for a reasonable person to move from doubt to a decision. We can see how this works by performing an autopsy on a few common examples of faulty logic. Imagine a writer defending a governor's effectiveness. Their only piece of evidence is a statement of praise from the chairman of the governor's own political party. This argument fails the relevance test. In a diagnostic framework, the testimony of a biased authority does not count in favor of the truth of a claim because the source's interest in the outcome outweighs the objective merit of the evidence. Consider an argument against seatbelt laws, where a driver survived a crash by being thrown to the floorboard. This relies on a localized anomaly, ignoring massive statistical data proving seatbelts save lives. It fails on acceptability, sufficiency, and rebuttal. Arguments built on isolated exceptions often appear logical on the surface, but they collapse once their underlying anatomy is exposed to scrutiny. For a case that survives the diagnostic framework, we can look at the long-standing debate over a constitutional amendment to prohibit flag burning. The most successful argument against the amendment anchors itself in the First Amendment. It uses undisputed facts and the widely accepted principle that free speech is essential to a healthy democracy. It masters the rebuttal principle by addressing the claim that flag burning damages the country. Instead of ignoring the anger it causes, the argument frames political criticism as a democratic strength that leads to positive change. It also uses a powerful analogy, noting that while we protect people from harm, we rarely punish citizens for showing disrespect to other human beings, making it logically inconsistent to demand punishment for disrespecting an inanimate object. This argument succeeds because it invites and systematically neutralizes opposing attacks, meeting the high bar set by the 5 criteria. We can apply these same filters to upgrade our own reasoning before we ever enter a discussion. One tactic is softening absolute claims. Words like always are easily broken. Swapping them for most makes a premise acceptable. You can also use sub-premises to reinforce main points. Bracing a claim with underlying facts helps it withstand a rebuttal before criticism is raised. Building a durable case requires the intellectual humility to identify and patch your own weak spots before you present them to others. This leads to the most difficult part of the process, knowing when a debate has actually reached its conclusion. If the evidence is too thin on both sides, the suspension of judgment principle applies. It is a sign of maturity to simply wait for more data before making a choice. But when an argument successfully satisfies all 5 criteria, the resolution principle applies. We must accept a conclusion supported by the best available argument. Arguments function as shared tools designed to help us discover truth, allowing us to move forward based on the best available evidence.